Hi, this is Hodges from DevilsDigest.com, reporting from Camptown, Arizona with ASU wide receivers coach Charlie Fisher. And Charlie, players have their own routine in the offseason, strength and conditioning program and whatnot. Your routine was playing some of the best golf courses in the country. Just let's talk about that experience. How did you get ready for the season?
Yeah, my routine is golf, and more golf when I can. I don't work out and spend time with my wife and travel, but spent 3 days in Monterey, Pebble Beach, Spanish Bay, Spyglass. Awesome experience. My oldest son, my oldest brother, and a close friend. So must do for everybody that likes golf.
Absolutely. Speaking of golf, a lot of green over here. First time in Camptown, Arizona. Just talk about your experience. You said earlier that it's been a while since you went off-site for preseason camp.
Yeah, I was a junior in high school, 1975. Don't do the math and figure out how old I am. But, yeah, first time really going off-site, 40 years of preseason camp for me. But it's a nice change. It's always nice when you get in a different environment. It's cooler. Elevation's a little bit different. But, it's a neat experience. It does more than just teach football. It teaches team, bonding. Everybody has to persevere away from their home environment.
Okay, so let's talk about ASU wide receivers. I get ASU fans probably asking me at least once a week, life after Nikhil Harry, how's it going to look? You have already spring practice all the way back in February. You have about 6 practices here in the preseason. How are you liking that life after Nikhil Harry wide receiver group?
Well, it's always different. I was at NC State with life after Torrey Holt, and it's a change. But when you look in the big picture, that's the beauty of college football. You don't keep players for 8, 10, 12 years. You keep them 3, 4, 5, and they move on. So next man up, who's going to get the job done? Who's going to be the next guy to emerge as a great receiver at Arizona State and follow on and keep this tradition going? But I like, we got 3 veterans. We've got Kyle Williams, who's played a lot of football, as well as Frank Darby, and Brandon Aiyuk is a guy that came in a year ago and really took off in the second half of the season. So we got 3 veterans now. We got to establish that backup core.
I know the Las Vegas Bowl wasn't a great game for the offense, but it gave us a taste of Brandon Aiyuk when the spotlight shined on him without Nikhil Harry playing in that specific contest. Do you think that there's really a launching pad, if you will, for Brandon Aiyuk, just the way he played in Las Vegas Bowl, not only a wide receiver but also special teams?
I do. I absolutely think so. He he took off in that second half, but he was really leading that way in the second half of the season. And, it's different when you're the number one, and a guy that, and again, we have 3 that are very talented, so I look at all those guys as number one. But there's going to be a spotlight on Brandon because of his success in the second half of the season, and that's going to be a big challenge for him. But I've said this before, he's got an NFL skill set, very, very talented. The ceiling is off the charts for this guy.
It's fun. It seems like every controversial play that ASU had last year, Frank Darby was in the middle of it. But there's a targeting call against San Diego State, the 2-point conversion at Oregon. Expecting from Frank Darby. I know it was a little nicked up, but came back to practice today.
Frank just brings a different vibe to the group, energy guy, leadership. And Frank, my challenge to him after the season was to improve his all-around game. Consistency and all-around game from a middle, medium route runner, short route runner, blocker, everything. We know how good Frank is over the top. I mean, he's proven that since the day he got here and really through his first 2 years in the program. But we want to see him develop as an all-around full-time receiver. He's taking that challenge. He's a little bit nicked up right now, but nothing that he's not going to come back from. And Frank just brings that, as I like to say, brings that mojo to our group.
When you look at Kyle Williams, I know you weren't here in 2017, but his numbers did drop from 17 to 18, and Rob Likens told me that he wants to take a real close look at it to really increase his production. Now, what do you expect from Kyle Williams in that vein for having a better year, at least statistically, in 2019?
Yeah, I look at that, and you can look at just his numbers, and as a coach, I look at so much more than that. And doing the production charts on these guys, his production came a lot away from the ball when he didn't have it in his hands. So you can look at strictly numbers and say, yeah, his production was down. Then you look at all the other things he does for your team, and you say his production is up. Steady, consistent. You know what you're going to get from Kyle. Sure, we want to get him more balls. Same time, we got 2 other guys we got to split it with. So, however that plays out, it plays out. But he's going to be a key factor in how we succeed offensively.
I remember talking to you after signing about Jordan Curley, and you just really had a twinkle in your eye every time you talked about him. And first few practices here in the preseason, I think as well as you can expect a true freshman to do in his first college football experience, he's doing pretty well. What have you seen from Jordan?
Oh, outstanding skill set. The first time I saw him in Austin, Texas, and was really excited. And when I went in there, and you have 5 other high school coaches in the area say you better go to McNeil High School and look at that guy, number 1, and we did. And, everyone said this kid may be as good a route runner as they've seen. And you see that skill set out here for a guy that is just learning the college game. His skill set is high. His route running ability is high. Sure, he's got a lot of work ahead of him. We don't play today. We don't play tomorrow. But we expect Jordan Curley to be a factor in this offense.
Okay, I don't know if this is a trick question or not, but when Curtis Hodges is split wide and makes a good play, is he still a tight end or is he a wide receiver?
He's a hybrid. We'll give him both, But, in the big scheme of things, we've allowed Curtis to play more inside as a Y. But if you want to look big picture, he's got a wide receiver skill set. So he really can do them both. And, how good is that for us and for Rob calling the plays?
With all this quarterback battle and whatnot, doesn't seem like really affected the wide receivers in practice. Would you agree with that? And what kind of mindset do you have to put your group in to really just put that quarterback battle noise aside and just do your job?
Yeah, you just said it. Your job is to do your job and do your role, and you let the quarterbacks do their job. And the worst thing I just had this conversation, the worst thing you can ever do is give the body language that projects to a quarterback that you're starting to become unsure. Your body language, your attitude has to be, you're behind this guy 100%. It doesn't matter who's in there, because it's always, whoever that next guy up. Again, we talked about Nikhil. Well, Manny's not here anymore. So who's the next man up? And there's going to be a guy step forward that's going to lead our football team this year.
And last question, as preseason practices close in a couple of weeks, what is in your to-do list or goal list for the wide receivers to be as ready as they can be for 2019?
Well, consistency, mental preparation, knowing the offense inside out, and our veterans have a good feel for that. Our younger guys got to take another step. But in these next 3 weeks, we know we've got 3 guys that played a lot of football. Now, we have to establish who's behind that, who can help us, who can make plays. We got to get Jordan Porter back, get him healthy. He's got the hamstring, and that'll be a big help. But, I love these young guys. We didn't even talk about Andre Johnson, Ricky Pearsall. I think, we struck gold with these young receivers. We got a talented young group. Guy like Keith Davis is coming on. Newsom's a veteran. So it isn't like we don't have talent. We've got some veteran leadership and ability. And now let's see what the young guys do as we move closer to Kent State.
Okay. Charlie, thank you very much.
Thank you, always.
And for Charlie Fisher, this is Hodges reporting from Camp Arizona for DevilsDigest.com.